Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? So I know I'm a little bit late to the party on this kit, but I'm really looking forward to it, except for those awful knees. This is the 40th anniversary Gunpla HG RX-78-2 Gundam Beyond Global. So it's yet another version of the RX-78-2 in 1:4:4 scale. It seems like we're having quite a lot of them this year and last year, but that's okay. I'm looking forward to building this one up. As you guys know, the G40 and the Origin version, I've done custom colors for those, and I've got plans to do a custom paint job on this one as well. I think for this one, I'm gonna go with Char's colors. I was kind of leaning more towards rollout colors, but as some of you guys pointed out to me, this one does have a little bit of a kind of different look, a little bit kind of meaner, sort of not quite the same look, a little slightly antagonist sort of look to it. And so I think this one will probably look good in Char's colors as you guys recommended, so I think you're probably right on that. So that's what we're gonna do with this, but first we need to unbox and review it, of course. So cool box art here on the front, looks very special. It definitely gives off the vibe of being a sort of special limited release thing, but I don't think this is a limited release thing. That said, I don't know if maybe this box art is limited to like only this year, maybe later versions of the box art will be changed, I don't know. But if you guys know anything more about that, let me know in the comment section. Let's take a look around the other sides of the box then, shall we? So on the ends of the box there, you'll see there's no number for this, and just a reminder to you guys, this is not actually technically part of the HGUC line. It's just marked as just an HG, not HGUC. And then on the bottom of the box here, we've got a little bit more showing about how this model pursues beautiful poses and articulation abilities and proportions. So yeah, it's basically a super articulated version of the RX-78-2 like we saw with the G40, but this one is more true to the original design. Obviously the G40 was a little bit stylized version of that, so we can see what it looks like, just all built and painted up. It looks very nice there, of course, standing, posed up in all sorts of different action poses, your standard accessories, beam rifle, shield, beam sabers. Nothing new really there. No hyper bazooka, unfortunately. I always wish that the bazooka was included with every single version of the Gundam, but unfortunately that is not the case. On the top of the box there, just a little bit more promotional images showing different poses and stuff, how you can recreate different poses like straight out of the anime. That's all very good and well, but I've been waiting for this guy long enough. Let's go ahead and get it opened up and see what we got in here. Oh, it looks like we've got 5 bags of runners and our instruction manual, which is pretty cool. There you got like a vertical format version of the box art, which looks pretty nice, I gotta say. So let's go ahead take a look at this. So on the back here, basically the same poses and stuff like we saw on the outside of the box, and you got a bunch more information there in Japanese and in English. So just in case any of you guys were interested in taking a read of any of this material, you can check this out. I'll let you guys have a look through that. Again, this is all the kind of stuff that I'm sure is all covered in great detail, probably greater detail on the Gundam wiki page already. And then over here, a little evolution of the Gundam in 1:44 scale, the 1980 version, the 1990 version, and the 1999 HGUC version, which is not pictured, it's just shown on there. 2010 real depiction of the RG. Skipping over the G30th edition, 2009, interestingly enough. I guess they could only fit so many on here. 2015 Revive, I should say, a great kit, and then the 2020 version that we've got here. So there's been plenty. All right, getting this opened up here to the inside, we've also got our parts list here, and it looks like we're not going to have anything left over, and also no polycaps once again with this kit. And the construction looks like it's going to follow a pretty standard path: body, head, arms, and let's see, waist first, then legs. I prefer that. And then back around to some color pages here, finishing up the legs, finishing up the assembly of the body, and then checking the movement of the lower body. So it gives you like in great detail here how the articulation works. So that's pretty nice that you can see all that laid out very clearly, so you can utilize all the articulation. And then the construction of the weapons, which do look relatively simple, as it goes with HG kits. For our sticker sheet, you'll be pleased to see that there's only one single sticker there for the eyes, which is always nice to see, a very small sticker sheet on an HG kit. And then no surprise here with SB13 for our clear pinkish red beam saber effect parts. They do seem a little bit darker, or they seem a little bit glossier than usual for some reason. And then runner A here, a 3-color runner, and I gotta say the colors of this kit, the colors it's molded in, look really nice. The yellow is like kind of a dull yellow, the blue is a very light blue kind of color, which I like. That's kind of different. And then the white is the slightly creamish kind of color white. It's off-white, so it looks really nice. And then runner B1 here, more parts in that off-white color. You can also see the head looks like it's molded all in one piece, so you won't have any seam line on the head to worry about, which is great on an HG kit as well. And then we've got runner B2, which is a copy of this half of the runner here. Runner C1 in a standard medium gray color here, it looks like, is just parts for the hands and the beam rifle mostly. Runner D1 is some more off-white parts, and we've got 2 of these for some pieces for the arms and the legs. Runner E1 is all of our red parts, and again, this is in a really kind of muted dark red kind of color. I really like these kind of slightly altered colors they went with for this version. And then last but not least, runner F1 is some more parts here in gray. You'll notice a gray part for the interior of the shield, which is so great to see. I'm really happy to see that, so we'll see how that comes together once it's all put together. We do also have runner F2, which is a copy of this half of the runner here. So I gotta say, some really exciting and promising things it looks like there from what I can tell from the parts on the runners so far, so I can't wait to get this built up, and I think it's also gonna be a really fun and simple kit to paint up as well, so really looking forward to working on this. So without any further ado, I'll just go ahead and get straight to work, and I'll see you guys in the review. Alright, so here it is, and yeah, I gotta say, as expected from just going through the unboxing and checking out all of the parts and everything, I am very impressed with how this kit comes together. There's still some aspects of the design I don't quite like, and I'll talk more about that maybe a little bit later on in the video, but basically, it's a fantastic kit. The colors that it comes molded into are also really super nice. I really like that. It may not be for everyone, that's just subjective, my personal opinion. I like the colors that it's in. I think it looks really nice. And just the construction, the engineering of the kit is amazing. The lack of panel lines in a lot of areas where you would expect a typical HG kit to have panel lines is great. The color separation is great. This is one of the few kits that actually has the little V on the front of the crotch as an actual separate piece in there, which is fantastic. No masking required for that, so that's good. So really great kit, really happy that I finally got the chance to build it. So let's go ahead and take a look now at it in closer detail. Let's go ahead and just get these accessories out of the way first though, as they're great and everything and they have some really nice points to them, but the kit, of course, the main kit is the main star of the show. So first off, we have the beam saber effect parts, of course, and like I said, I'm still pretty sure that these are a little bit more glossy than usual. Our alternate hand parts, the trigger finger for the right hand, open hand for the left hand, are pretty nice, and those are just in addition to just the standard holding hands which we have on the kit there. And the beam rifle, which is a pretty standard beam rifle design here for the Gundam, but it looks pretty nice. The handle moves in the front there, the camera also moves. The camera is designed in a way so that the yellow part can be popped out very easily for when you're painting the kit. You can easily just take that out and paint it separately. A lot of times in the past, you guys have seen me do this in different work in progress videos, I've had to drill out the back of this part to get the camera out of the different RX-78-2 different type of kits. But with this one, fortunately, you don't need to worry about that. And on the back here, there's a peg for plugging this onto the back skirt of the Gundam here, like that, so that works really well, good solid connection. This is basically the only seam line on the kit you need to worry about, is the seam line on the barrel here. This part on like the back half is an actual panel line detail, so you don't need to worry about that, but just on the barrel there between the camera and like this handle part, a little bit of seam line there, a little bit of seam line here, and then on the underside there as well. And that's pretty much it in the entire kit, so it's a little bit, nothing too much to worry about. And then the shield, which is really, really nice. I really like the design of the shield. It's a little bit different design here on the front, especially with the added gray strips there, which are coming through from this piece here on the backside. So you have an actual separate piece for the backside of the shield, which is not very common on an HG kit, so you have really nice color separation there. With that, this handle here will come out and you can attach that in a couple different ways. This part just connects onto the side of the arm and that will rotate around, or you can remove that if you want. So this handle can be plugged in different ways here. It's just a square connection in there, so you can plug it in so that it's just folded down like that if you prefer. Otherwise, you can plug it in up here at the top too if you preferred it like that, folded up like that. And if you remove this part, this is how you can plug this onto the backpack. So that just is that, like so. Plugs onto the backpack like that, simple enough. You can also plug this handle onto here like that for holding the shield if you want to hold it like straight ahead of the Gundam out like that. So it's really cool that it has a square handle. I think that'll be really nice for a good solid connection. You don't have to worry about the shield like kind of sinking down or anything while it's connected into the hand or anything like that. So let's talk about the Gundam itself then. So once again, the only sticker was just the one there for the eyes. The head camera, that's an actual red piece up in there. You actually have red up underneath the eyes as a separate part for the chin, of course. The little yellow V on there is an actual separated part. The shoulder armor is just one solid piece for the shoulder armor, so no seam line or anything at all on that. The head, the main part of the helmet too, is also one solid piece. You have a mold line on there that needs some sanding, but no seam line on the head, which is fantastic. You do have a little bit of a seam line here on like where the beam saber handle is plugged into the backpack there, but it's a very hidden little bit there. These thruster bells aren't separate pieces. Those are like actually the back side of the backpack. So the backpack is basically two halves sandwiched together, and those are part of the back half of the backpack that kind of poke through out to the front I guess it would be the back. But anyway, you guys get what I mean. Those are not like separate pieces. They're just all molded in together with the backpack there, so those won't come out or move or anything. But those are nicely, and just the way that it fits together. And I like how you just have little bits of the gray inner parts kind of poking out through the armor here, up on the top of the arm there, on the side skirts here, down on the legs, on like the knees there. Really don't like this panel line detail here on the knee. You don't really have any sort of panel lines around on the kit much at all. You have a little bit here on like the front of the skirt, and I guess like kind of sort of maybe on the side of the arm a little bit. And then just all of a sudden on the knee you have like this spider web of detail panel lines here on the front of the knee. It looks very strange and out of place in my opinion. Also don't really like how thin the lower leg is here suddenly. It's have like these kind of big bulgy thighs or calves, and then just a very thin lower leg. Looks a bit strange. And the feet are also a little bit stubby, I feel like, in their design. You also have a little bit of hollow space up there underneath the feet as well. Some really nice detail, and then unfortunately just this hollow gap at the front, so that's a shame. But it's getting back to the color separation. Also, the Vulcans in the head are a separate yellow piece in there. The part for the eyes is a yellow piece, and that's also including the Vulcans as well, so those are an actual separate piece, barely visible up inside there. And also the camera on the back of the head is part of the red piece inside of there as well, so no stickers for that. So let's talk about the articulation. The neck articulation is pretty standard. Go up and down on a double joint there on the neck. The shoulders will come up really far like that. Really nice design on those, and also out to the front. This whole back half of the body section all moves out there. You can see that like hinge in the blue parts, so that will move forward like so. And the arm works pretty normally. Rotation there at the top, double joint at the elbow to give you a really full bend there for that, and then the hand is just on a ball joint there. Should also mention here in the arm too that this lower part of the forearm can be separated out a little bit. It's just connected via a ball joint, so you can pull that off a little bit to separate that, and then you can have a little bit more articulation kind of in the bend of the forearm here as well, however you might like to bend that. So that's a pretty cool little feature in there as well. The torso articulation is a bit odd though. It has really nice articulation everywhere else, but I can't quite seem to figure out how to get the torso articulation to move. Like you can see we have this movement here, like the top half will move forward a little bit like that, but I feel like there should be more articulation here between the two red sections, but it's not. It's kind of like stuck, not moving on mine, so I'm not sure, maybe something I'm not bending in there properly or not, but it feels like it's not moving anywhere actually there for more forward articulation there for the ab crunch in the stomach. But side to side, it will move pretty well like that there at the midsection between the red parts, and then the top and bottom half of the body is just all connected via this ball joint here, so you can move it around a little bit on there as well. The front skirts are joined but can be separated, so you can move those individually, and you have separate yellow pieces of course for that detail as well. The side skirts also move up and down, so like the main center part of the side skirt just stays there, but this part will move out like that. The back skirt is just all one piece, but it can actually be moved up like that. That's more for this kind of leg gimmick of being able to drop down the hip joint like that for added articulation. And there's another joint here where the hip joint can also swing in, or like the leg can bend in like that. And that's for doing like is sort of like flying poses or running poses like that, where the leg is kind of bent in underneath the body like that, so you can do that with that little bit of articulation up there in the hip. So definitely some pretty nice engineering there in the hip section. Also, you have some rotation here at the top of the leg, a nice double joint here in the leg for a really full 180-degree bend with the knee armor separated very nicely there as well. The foot will come all the way forward to there, all the way back down to there. The ankle armor will move separately on its own. You have a seam line here as well, but it's kind of hidden as a detail on that, so it's not too bad. And the ankle will also move side to side like that, so you could get a pretty wide stance with keeping the feet flat on this. And so here I'll try recreating some of the poses featured in the manual, and also some other different ones as well. And you'll see this kit poses really super well. It shouldn't really come as much as a surprise. That's kind of been like a main feature of this kit. Obviously, it's just the articulation and the posing of it was supposed to be one of the key features, and it definitely pulls it off really well. Just the engineering of this kit is great. The way that it goes together was also really interesting. It was a fun kit to build. There was a lot of aspects of the build that seemed like really unique and new, interesting, so I really appreciate that always. And while it does have a fair amount of detail here and there, it's not super detailed, but I think it's detailed enough in a way that's fitting to the RX-78's design. I think it looks good. Some people might prefer a little bit more or a little bit less detail, I suppose, but it's just kind of up to your own personal taste. I think the color separation, just the part separation is amazing. Some of the parts like the head, the shoulders, not having seam lines on there is awesome. And then just the color separation of like the eyes, the camera, I guess the eyes are not very unique, but like the head Vulcans, like the different parts, the little color apps there in the head, little V on the front of the crotch are just awesome things to see in an HG kit as well. So you can definitely tell that Bandai really wanted this to be a really great kit, and I really love the RX-78-2 Revive Gundam, the HGC Revive kit. I think that's a really great kit, but this one I think is definitely better in a lot of ways. Some people might not like the design. Like I said, there's a few design aspects of this that I don't really care for, and I definitely prefer, I think, overall the design of the Revive version more, but there are some really nice aspects to this one as well, and just in terms of its articulation and general engineering, this one is definitely better than the Revive version, that's for sure. So if you guys are looking for a really awesome 1/44 scale RX-78-2 Gundam, I gotta say this is one to definitely check out. And people were asking during the live stream build between this and the Origin Gundam, and I feel like this is a very similar comparison between the Master Grade kits. A lot of people ask which is the better Master Grade kit, the Origin Master Grade or the 3.0 Master Grade, and I think they're both equally very good, and you just kind of have to go for whichever design you prefer more. And between this and the Origin HG, I think it's a similar kind of thing. They're both really great kits. You just kind of have to go for which design you prefer. I think the Origin version comes with an extra accessory in that it comes with a bazooka, which is nice. It also has more detail, which I like. And I generally just prefer the design of the Origin Gundam, personally. This one is also a really nice kit, so you just really can't go wrong with either of them. I would just recommend just getting whichever one you prefer the look of. So thank you guys, as always, for the support, watching the video, commenting, liking, subscribing, all of that. Greatly appreciated. And again, as always, thank you to USA Gundam Store as well for their awesome support. Check the link down in the video description below to USA Gundam Store. Use my coupon code there, save yourself some money. That's all down in the video description. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.